Hello everyone, I hope that I am streaming live to you now. All I need you to do is let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me, and once I know we're good to go, then I will start the lesson. I'm very excited about today's lesson. I think you're going to find it very informative. I think we're going to have a lovely time. So I'm just waiting to hear from somebody. Hello! Hello, Khaleb. How are you? Hi, Buchetta. Tell me that you can hear me and that you can see me, and we'll be good to move on. I've just made myself a fresh cup of tea. As you can see, I have a t-shirt matching my teacup, so I'm all ready for it. It's 2 AM. You're feeling sleepy, goodness me. Hello, Ivan. Hello, Valdizeni. Is everything all right? Here from Brazil. Hello in Brazil. Does that mean you are happy, everything's good? Okay, some of you are saying you can hear. Hello, happy Tuesday. Hello, Adolfo. Hearing and seeing from Brazil. Fantastic. Hello, Eric. How are you? Wonderful. So, as you are here, if you can hear me and see me all right, I want you to start off with a positive feeling by clicking that thumbs up. So if you can hear and see all right, click the thumbs up and then tell me where in the world you're watching from. For those of you who don't know, my name is Anna. This is English Like a Native, and we are today looking at important word pairs. So in English, we have many words that belong together, but they belong together in a certain order, and many non-natives get this order mixed up. And this is what makes them stand out. Even if they have a good accent, a good vocabulary, if they mix up these certain word pairs, then they don't sound like natives. So I'm going to be teaching these word pairs to you. And also, this is a special session because during this session, I'm potentially going to answer some personal questions. Now, when I say potentially, this is all down to anyone who is interested in sponsoring this video. So if you're interested in becoming a donator to this channel, sponsoring this video, then all you have to do is hit the super chat button. So super chat has been enabled, and that means that the little icon next to the emoji icon, the $sign, you can click on that and decide to make a donation, whether it be a small donation or a large donation. The size of your donation will then have an effect on how long your comment sticks to the top of the board. So if you want to advertise your channel, or you have a personal question that you wish to ask, keep it nice. If you have a personal question you wish to ask, then send me a super chat and everyone will see that. It will stay stuck to the top of the chat board, and I promise to get back to everyone who sends a super chat. With that in mind, I also want to say a huge thank you to all of my patrons. So I'm going to give a shout out here to Eric. You're already here, so Eric, you are my biggest patron. Thank you so much for your kind support and patronage to this channel. Marco, hello, thank you so much. You are a very loyal patron. I have an SR logo as well, thank you. I have Schwavek, who's one of my gold members and a patron, so thank you, Schwavek. It's always wonderful to have your support, help and advice. And to Christoph as well, who is also a loyal gold member, has been with me for a long time and has also been one of my longest standing patrons. I think Christoph, you were my first ever patron. So thank you guys, you are making it possible for me to keep carrying on creating better and better content. Okay, so let's have a look. I've got people in the Ukraine, in South Korea, hello, in Taiwan, Colombia, hi. Oh, I've got someone in Morocco, but in the classroom for another subject. Oh yes, if you're in class already, don't be naughty, go and listen to your class. Sebastian, hi, I'm good, thank you. Hello in Ireland. Hello in Doncaster. Hello, hola in Argentina. A few of you in Argentina. Hello in Turkey. Hello in Egypt. Wow, we have so many people here. It's wonderful. Hello in Korea. Wonderful. And in Madrid as well. Fantastic. It's wonderful to have so many of you here. All right, well, let's get started, shall we? So, we're having a look at word pairs. So, the first word pair, which is also Cockney rhyming slang, sometimes, is Adam and Eve. When we talk about the two figures which appear in the Bible, we talk about Adam and Eve. We rarely talk about Eve and Adam, it's always Adam and Eve. Now this is an interesting one because this is also Cockney rhyming slang. If you've seen the Cockney rhyming slang video, you'll know what it means when a Cockney says, "Would you Adam and Eve it? Would you Adam and Eve it?" And this means, would you believe it? Because Adam and Eve rhymes with believe. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Would you Adam and Eve it? So always make sure that it's that way round. Adam and Eve. Now, if you're talking about moving between 2 points, perhaps I have to go to work and I work at the end of the road. And in the middle of the day, I have to come back. And then I have to go back to work again, and then work send me home to pick something up, and then I have to go back to work. This motion we refer to as back and forth. Back and forth. I may sit in my chair and rock. Back and forth. Back and forth. We never say forth and back. We always say back and forth. So when I was talking about home and work, I could say, I've been running back and forth to work all day. I've been running back and forth between home and work all day. In fact, what I'm going to do is make sure I write these down for you. So let's write this down. Back and forth. And also we had Adam and Eve. So just put that in the comments there. If you're watching this after we finish the live broadcast, you won't see the comments. Unfortunately, all comments are removed by YouTube once a live broadcast has finished broadcasting. I don't know why they do it, but hopefully you'll be able to understand, and then you can also use the automatic subtitles that come up for you. Some of you are asking me to turn up the mic. Some of you can't hear me. If you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to see if I put my mic on, if that helps. In 2 seconds. Da-da-da! Sometimes when I use these, it helps. So let's see. You have to tell me if this is any better. Right, can you hear me now? And is it any better? Please let me know if it is better. Say yes, it is better, or no, it is worse. So someone just write that in the comments for me, and then I'll know. Just waiting for these comments to catch up for me. Someone talk to me. Okay, so I'm going to carry on. So we've had Adam and Eve back and forth. Now, if you need to stay in a hotel and it's just for one night, some hotels will also serve breakfast in the morning, and these little hotels have a certain name. They are called a bed and breakfast. a bed and breakfast. Oh, it's much better now. Good. Sorry, I'm just seeing your comments come through. Wonderful. I'm glad you can hear me better. I will keep this on for you. So, this hotel we're talking about is called a bed and breakfast. And sometimes this is even shortened to a B and B. A B and B. These are usually cheaper than a hotel. And sometimes if they feel very homely, they're smaller than a big hotel and they feel like staying in someone's house sometimes. So a bed and breakfast or a B&B, but we never say breakfast and bed. We never say that. We only say bed and breakfast. So if I'm going on a business trip, I may need to book a B&B for 2 nights, or I'll need to book a bed and breakfast for 2 nights. Wonderful. Okay, what else do we have? So we also have the birds and the bees. Now the birds and the bees is a way to describe how babies are made. So it's a very pleasant and very old-fashioned way of talking about sex. So if I am a mother and my children are getting older and they need to understand certain things, I might say to the father in front of the children, do you think it's time that we told them about the birds and the bees? And he would know that I meant, should we tell them about how babies are made? Should we tell them about sex? And hopefully he'd say yes. Let's sit down together and talk about the birds and the bees. Okay, so I'm going to write that down for you. The birds and the bees. The birds and the bees. The birds and the bees. Wonderful. Okay, Marco, you said it's new in all the world, B&B. Make sure you say it's known. It's known in all the world, B&B. I guess it is also quite commonly known because of Airbnb, of course, which is the website that allows people to let out their home or their rooms for a day or for a week or a weekend. Airbnb. Wonderful. Oh dear, one of you says there aren't enough B&Bs in my country. Make sure you say B and Bs, not BBs. BB is different. B and B, B&B. Good. Moose row, birds and the bees, like buzzy bees, buzz. I've written it down in the comments for you to take a look at. Okay, let's do another one. So that's the birds and the bees. Okay, if we're talking about the colours black and white, we always say them in that order. Black and white. So black comes first. Black and white. So you might say that you like an old black and white photograph. I quite like black and white photographs. They have a certain appeal for me. I think they look nostalgic and beautiful. Black and white photos. You can also say that information is black and white. So if we're talking about information, if I've told you the plans to something, I might say, is that clear? And you would say, well, yes, it's black and white. It's clear, it's easy to understand, it's black and white. So if something is black and white, it's clear. There's no grey area. We sometimes talk about there's a grey area. There's a part of the information that's not clear that could be interpreted in a different way. That would be a grey area. But if it's black and white, it's clear. It's clear to tell the difference between black and white, so the information is clear. There we go. Oh. Yes, JCR1138 says bees is for pollinate a flower. So a bee pollinates a flower. The same principle for a woman getting pregnant. Yes, I guess that's why they use the phrase birds and the bees. Hello, Jean-Luc. In France, the name is Chambre de Hôtesse. My French isn't great, so I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that, but that's wonderful. Thank you for letting us know. Great. Okay, so black and white. If something is black and white, it is either the colours or it is clear. Sometimes we talk about body and soul. We don't talk about soul and body, we talk about body and soul. I don't know how to give you an example of using this, but it's just talking about ourselves as a whole. So you could say, I'm happy, body and soul. I'm a better person, body and soul. He loves me, body and soul. He loves me on the outside and on the inside. Body and soul. Let me write that down for you. Body and soul. Sergio loves my British mug. I love it too. I especially love it when it has a nice cup of tea inside. We're coming to bread and butter, don't worry. So Fito says, in Spanish we say it backwards, we say white and black. Isn't that interesting? Marco makes a good point for black and white. There is the Michael Jackson song, which is, it doesn't really matter if you're black or white. I can't remember the tune, but there is a song by Michael Jackson where he sings about black and white. Okay. Lovely. Good. Okay. So what else have we have? We have bread and butter, which has just been suggested by one of the students here. Bread and butter. So we might talk about the food, bread and butter. So you might say, would you like some bread and butter with your soup? Would you like some bread and butter with your dinner? We never say butter and bread. Always bread first, then the butter. Bread and butter also refers to money. So, is it the whole thing, bread and butter? Got to make the bread and butter. Actually, I might be wrong on that one. Let me just double check. Bread and butter. So we definitely have bread in the Cockney slang. Bread means money. So yeah, a bread and butter job. I'm right. So so you can talk about the bread and butter as being your income. I need to earn some bread and butter. I have a bread and butter job, a job that brings in my living. It covers my basic needs to live. Can't see anything else that's important. Good. Okay, so bread and butter. Bread and butter. Have I written it down already? Hello, Mihail. Thank you for joining us. Mihail is one of our moderators. He keeps everyone in check and makes sure that no one is writing inappropriate comments. He's very helpful. So thank you, Mihail, for all your help. You are wonderful. Okay, so we've covered quite a few already. Jose, the mug has peppermint tea in. Peppermint tea. Okay, so just to remind you guys, this is a super chat session. So if you want to ask me a personal question, if there's something you want to know, maybe even about British culture, or you want to ask me about me, my life, my background, then you are welcome to. If it's accompanied by a super chat, then you're guaranteed that it will be responded to. It's just a way of you sponsoring this video, helping this channel to grow, And you can get involved in Super Chat by clicking the $sign next to the emoji icon where you write your comments. I'll be doing those at the end of the session if any come through. And now I'm going to tell you a little joke. So, are you ready for this? Here's the joke. What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? I've just posted that into the bottom for you. What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? And the answer is, it gets towed away. It's not that funny, but it's a play on words. It's what we call a pun. A pun is a play on words. Let me write that answer for you. It gets towed away. Because the word towed, spelt differently, T-O-W-E-D, means to hook a vehicle onto the back of another vehicle and pull it along. So if your car breaks down, you tie it to another vehicle and it gets pulled along the road, and that's called towing. The car is towed, okay? But also a type of amphibian, like a frog, similar to a frog, is a toad, spelt T-O-A-D, toad, toad. So, what happens to a frog's car when it breaks down? It gets towed away. I hope you found that funny. Okay. Sebastian says, your Spanish is advanced, isn't it? Unfortunately not. I can understand more Spanish than I can speak, but I think that's the case for most people. Speaking is more scary. Thank you, Prince Khan. You've written the difference between towed away and towed away for me. Thank you. Hello in Colombia. Sergio's got a joke for us. He says, what do you call a witch on a beach? What do you call a witch on a beach? I don't know. Tell me. My English teacher told me that the English do not use kid word in England, for it means little dog. Is that right? The word kid refers to a child or to a baby goat. Refers to child or a baby goat, if that's what you mean. And we do use that word. We call someone a kid, or we talk about the baby, the kid from a goat if we're on a farm, I guess. Okay, so let's go back to our word pairs, because these are very helpful for you, knowing the right order. Okay, so when we talk about a building, and we talk about the building being built, we would use bricks and mortar. Mortar is the material that sticks the bricks together. So bricks and mortar. If people are talking about investing, where to invest your money, some people would say it's good to invest in property. Other people, instead of saying property, might use the phrase bricks and mortar. It's always safe to invest in bricks and mortar. It just means property. Bricks and mortar. Never mortar and bricks. Okay? If it is somebody's wedding day, we talk about the two people getting married, and that is the bride and the groom. The bride and groom. So think about it, the lady comes first into the church, the bride, and then the groom. Of course, I'm talking about in Christian weddings. I'm not sure, and Catholic weddings, I'm not sure about in other cultures when you go through marriage if it's the same. But from what I know, in Catholic and Christian weddings, the lady will come in first, the bride, and then the groom. And that's how you remember the order, the bride and groom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please let me welcome the bride and groom. Lovely. Andrea says, do you understand Italian? Oh, not really, Andrea. Only very basic little bits and bobs. Jose, you don't say a mug has a cup of tea in it. You just say it has tea in it. Simone, have you got any other videos coming up with Lucy? Unfortunately not. Lucy's very busy and doesn't have much time to come and visit me at the moment, but hopefully in the future. Who knows? Okay. So I'm going to carry on with word pairs here. So I'm just going to write down bride and groom for those of you who are making notes. Bride and groom. Okay, so another one is cause and effect. Cause and effect. Here we go. Cause and effect. So cause and effect just talks about when you do something, when something happens, what is the outcome? So the cause and the effect it has. So we talk about the cause and effect. We never do it back to front. We never talk effect and cause. We talk about cause and effect. Cause and effect. Okay, Firat says, hi, honey. Hi. A little note. Recently, I've been getting lots of people saying hello and using phrases, using words and greetings that are not really appropriate for somebody that you don't know very well or for someone that you don't have an intimate relationship with. To say hi, honey, or hi, baby, or hi, sexy, or hi, sweetheart, it's a little bit too familiar. It's very familiar. It's what someone would say to their boyfriend or girlfriend, their wife or their husband. My mother might call me sweetheart. So if it's your teacher or someone you're working with, don't use those. Don't say baby, honey, sweetie, darling. Just be very careful with those greetings, okay? I know you mean well, but I'm just letting you know in case you don't realise. Okay. Okay, if I miss your comments, guys, it's just because there's so many going through. So I do apologise, it's nothing personal, I just can't read them all. Jean-Luc says, how long time during the week, how much time during the week do you work for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, English lessons? It must be very important. This is my full-time job. If you saw me on my other channel 2 hours ago doing a video, I don't make very much money, unfortunately. In fact, I may have to stop doing YouTube for a few weeks so that I can go and do a short job to make some money to pay my rent because I'm running out of money. But YouTube is very important to me. Trying to help everyone is also very high on my priority list. That's why I do it full time. But sometimes I will have to take a break to go and make some money to pay the bills until I make enough money making videos. But I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'll do some more questions at the end, but for now, let's carry on with the word pairs. So, cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. I wonder if anyone actually knows this one. If someone is behaving a bit cloak and dagger, it means that they're being sneaky. They're hiding behind a cloak and they have a dagger which is hidden behind the cloak and they're getting ready to hurt somebody. We're not talking literally here. We're talking about someone just being devious, someone being sneaky. They're behaving cloak and dagger. It's all very cloak and dagger. Okay, so you could say that in politics, it's a lot of cloak and dagger behavior. It's all very cloak and dagger. Let me just write that down for you. Cloak and dagger. I do like that phrase actually. Someone says, is it okay to call your teacher Miss? Yes. As long as, if your teacher is married, yeah, I'd still call them Miss. Unless you know their name, their surname, then you say like Mrs. Smith. So I'm Tyree. So if you were my young students, I don't expect you to do it because you're adults and we're on a similar level. You just call me Anna. But if it's a teacher who's older than you and you're supposed to have a lot of respect for, you call them Mrs. Smith or Miss Smith. But just to call them Miss is fine. That is fine. Okay, so Cloak and Dagger I shared with you. Oh, okay. Crime and punishment. So you may talk about people, you may talk about something that needs discussing is crime and punishment. As a subject, crime and punishment. We never say punishment and crime because the crime comes first and then the punishment. So that makes sense. Crime and punishment. Okay. All right. What else do we have? A cup and saucer. You don't see saucers very often these days, only in posh places, in nice hotels and restaurants. I think my grandma has cups and saucers, but we don't have them here in this house. But a cup and saucer, the saucer is the little plate that the cup sits on. So you have a cup, it sits on its own little plate to catch the drips. Cup and saucer, cup, saucer, never saucer and cup. Okay, cup and saucer. Let me write that down for you. Cup and saucer. Oh, how do we spell saucer? Let me just check that. Yes, I spelt it right. Why is it not liking it? Ah, I see. Cup and saucer. For those of you writing in a foreign language, I'm afraid I can't understand. Oh, I'm afraid I can't understand it. Zaire is saying, can you post these words as a list in Facebook, on the Facebook page? I possibly. I'm running out of time at the moment because tomorrow I go away for the Easter bank holiday weekend. And I can tell you about that a little bit later on, but I am running out of time to get everything done before I leave. So maybe if somebody would like to make a note of all these and put it on Facebook or send it to me in a private message on Facebook, then I'll copy and paste it onto the page. So if any of you would like to be my little assistant, my little helper, and you want to send all these word pairs that I'm putting up to me in a list on Facebook, then that'd be really helpful. And you'll get a gold star, which is just a thumbs up from me. What is dosh in England? Dosh is a slang term for money. Give me some dosh. I haven't got any dosh. It just means money. Wonderful. Okay, so we have dead or alive. Dead or alive. Maybe if someone's reporting on the news, or if I see it a lot in films when you have cowboys, perhaps, and there'll be a wanted sign. So they want to catch a rogue cowboy or a gunslinger, and it'll say wanted, dead or alive. So we usually say it in that order, dead or alive. Dead or alive. Okay, here's an interesting one. Down and out. Down and out. If somebody is down and out, he's a down and out. It means that it's somebody who probably lives on the streets, who doesn't have much luck in life. They've had some bad times. They're down and out. They're down and they're out of the house. A down and out. So somebody who is a down and out. Let me see if there are any other meanings for that. My computer is not behaving today. Not at all. Yes, so what I said, a down and out is someone without money, without place to live, without a job. So they're down on their luck, they're poor. But down and out is also when a boxer has been knocked down and they're unable to continue fighting. So it's a term also used in boxing. They're down and out. So they're down on the floor physically and they're out of the game. They're down and out of the competition. So down and out. Oh, Tom and Jerry, yes, that's a good one. Good. Okay. So we also might say first and last. It was my first and last attempt to put up the Christmas tree. It was my first and last. It was the first and last time I spoke to him. It was the first and last time I ever got on a horse. So if we're talking about the first and the last together, then we say first, first, and last, last. That's an easy one to remember. Isaac, is it okay to assume someone's gender? I guess it depends on the situation. I'm sure it's okay, but embarrassing if you get it wrong. Embarrassing if you get it wrong. Okay, so I can see lots of questions coming through here. Some are personal and some are not. You know, normally I don't answer personal questions. However, today, like I said, as it's a super chat Q&A, if you want to ask a personal question and you want to get an answer, then please send a super chat and support this channel and sponsor this video. You can do that by pressing the little $ just below where the comments section is. And if you sponsor the video, then I will be happy, depending on the question, I'll be happy to answer your personal questions. Okay, let's carry on, and then I might give you a little joke because I know how much you like the jokes. Okay, so we have a special dish over here in the UK that we love eating, especially when we're visiting the coast. When we're at the seaside, we eat fish and chips. Fish and chips. Never chips and fish, always fish and chips. Remember that chips are different in American English. Chips in American English are the dried snacks that you have, the cold, dry snacks. But over here, a chip is a cut of potato that is warm and fried or oven cooked. But when you buy it at the seaside, it's deep fried and it's warm. Little stick of potato, delicious. Fish and chips. And we'll have it with salt and pepper, perhaps. Salt and pepper on our fish and chips. And we'll eat it with a knife and fork. So we have fish and chips with salt and pepper, and we eat it with a knife and fork. Okay? All right, guys. So someone is saying, how will they know you are live? You'll know I'm live because you'll see these comments going up the side now. So if you can see all these comments going up the side and you can see the emoji button and the super chat button next to the comments, then you'll know this is live. If you can't see that, then I'm not live. But I am live now because I've just seen your comment. Okay. So we also talk about flesh and blood. Flesh and blood. So if we talk about our flesh and blood, Eric, yes, you're right. I've seen your comment a few times. I'm going to come to that soon. If you talk about your flesh and blood, then this is someone who is related to you. They are your flesh and blood. They have your blood in their veins. They are your flesh and blood. So I might say, my brother is my flesh and blood. My child is my flesh and blood. Okay? I would say about someone else, about somebody else, he is your flesh and blood. They are flesh and blood. So that's a good one to remember. We use it regularly. I think it's time for a joke. Okay. Here's one I absolutely love. This is my favourite joke. Why is the number 6 scared of 7? Why is number 6 scared of number 7? The answer is because 7, 8, 9. I love that joke so much. Because 7, 8, 9. Honestly, that is one of my favourite jokes. Okay, so let's carry on with the word pairs. This is going to be a long lesson, by the way, just so you know. We've got a long way to go and we're already 40 minutes in, so I hope you're feeling comfortable. Good. Okay, so forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. So you have to do the forgiving first and then you can forget. So forgive and forget. So I could never forgive and forget. I do forgive and forget. I'm just giving you examples of how to use this in a sentence. So you might say, I could never forgive and forget. I never forgive and forget. Or I always forgive and forget. Okay, so forgive and forget. For those of you who want to see the joke that I told earlier, I'm just going to share it with you now. Oh my goodness, we just had our first super chat from Herbert. Herbert, thank you so much. You are our first super chat of the session and you've given us $10. Thank you so much. You are an absolute star. And have you asked a question? You haven't made any comments or asked any questions? Okay, so you're just supporting for the sake of supporting. Thank you so much, Herbert. I hope I'm saying that right. Is it Herbert or is it something else? But thank you so much. That is so much appreciated. Yeah, that's made my day. Thank you. Okay, so let's carry on with some word pairs. So we have fun and games. We have fun and games. Obviously, fun and games refers to having fun and playing games. But you could also use this in the negative. So you could say it's not all fun and games. It's not all fun and games. And this would mean, this can be used in any situation pretty much. You can even say it sarcastically. Let's imagine that you are in a meeting. Let's imagine you've started a new job and you're having a horrible time. You don't get on with anybody. The work is really hard or really boring. And yeah, you don't know how to make it fun. If somebody says to you, how is work going? You can say, well, it's all fun and games. That's being sarcastic. It means it's not good. It's all fun and games. Or you could say, well, it's not all fun and games, meaning I'm not having a good time. So fun and games. Let's have a look at some of your comments. George says, what's the difference between flesh and meat? There is no difference. There is no difference. You may talk about a flesh wound. So I would think about myself as flesh. This is flesh. I guess meat is something that you would eat. I guess that's the difference. So meat is flesh that you would eat, whereas flesh you wouldn't necessarily eat, or you wouldn't talk about flesh being what you eat. Yeah, so meat is what we use more for edible flesh, but it's interchangeable. Yes, Andrea, your sentence is correct. Okay. Oh, Zahir says, if I could send money, I will do, but unfortunately I can't because I'm from Iraq. Don't worry, Zahir, I really appreciate your support, especially as you're a moderator for me, so you're supporting me and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Jose, do you guys still use euros? No, we've never used euros. We are the only member of the EU that stuck with our own currency, which is the Great British Pound. Unfortunately, of course, we're not going to be members of the EU for much longer, which makes me very, very sad. Andrea, yes, meat is used for dinner. So we eat meat at dinner. I am not a meat eater because I am a vegetarian, but I would never talk about eating flesh. Okay, so let's carry on with some word pairs. We might talk about the give and take. The give and take. So to give and take is to be flexible or to be open. You give a little and you take a little. To be fair, it's all about give and take. Give and take. You don't want to be just a taker and you can't always be just a giver. It's all about the give and take. Oh, Marco has to go. Have a nice evening, Marco. Thank you for joining us. You'll be able to continue to watch this later on, hopefully, if you want to come back and watch. So that's give and take. We also have high and dry. If someone is left high and dry, then it means they've been... so you could say, my boyfriend left me high and dry. So he put me somewhere and he left me there. That means he abandoned me. I was left high and dry. Lovely. Oh, Zahir has a little surprise. Stay tuned. Wonderful. I'm tuned. Good. Okay, so to be high and dry. To be left high and dry. We may talk about, when we're talking about good times and bad times, then we could talk about the highs and the lows. The highs and the lows. Okay, so the highs and the lows are the good bits and the bad bits. So I might talk about YouTubing has its highs and its lows. It has its good points and its bad points. There are highs and lows to YouTubing, but overall it's more highs than lows. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, if you get stressed or flustered, then you could say you are hot and bothered. I'm very hot and bothered. It just means stressed and flustered. Oh, Jean-Luc, that's a great suggestion. So Jean-Luc has suggested to blow hot and cold. Hot and cold. Yes, if someone blows hot and cold, it means they are variable. So sometimes they're nice and sweet to you, and other times they are cold and nasty to you. Sometimes they behave like they don't like you. They blow hot and cold. Okay? Good. Hello, Mr. Rich. Yes, you caught me live. Some of you, Eagles has said, you're so cute. I really like watching your videos. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here. Samir says, what's the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian? A vegan doesn't eat any animal products. They won't have any dairy, milk, eggs, cheese, butter, as well as meat. So they won't eat any meat at all, and they won't eat any animal products, and they usually won't wear leather or buy leather handbags or shoes. And a vegetarian will just cut out meat and they'll still eat dairy. Okay, let's carry on. If someone is out of breath, you might say that they are huffing and puffing. So if I'm running to the shops and I'm you could say, Anna was huffing and puffing all the way to the shop. Anna was huffing and puffing all the way to the shop. I won't because I'm fit and healthy. Maybe if it was a long way away. If it was like a mile away and I was running for a whole mile, then I might be huffing and puffing to the shop. Okay. So once our bride and groom get married, this is very interesting. I've never thought about this before. Once our bride and groom get married, they become husband and wife. Husband and wife. Isn't that interesting? The bride comes first in the marriage, but then once they're married, we refer to them with the man first. So the husband and wife. Interesting. So Arifur has said, what's the difference between while and when? When can be used in lots of different ways. When can form a question. When did it happen? While is used when two things are happening at the same time. So you could in the same way use when. You could say, it happened when you were in the bath. And you could then also say, it happened while you were in the bath. But you can't use while to question. You can't say, while will you be here? But you can say, when will you be here? So when can be used as a question to pinpoint a time, but while is used to say that two things were going on at the same time. Okay. If I do miss your question, it's nothing personal. It's because I haven't seen it. Because all I see is maybe 4 or 5 comments and they scroll up. So don't take it personally. All right, let's do a couple more and then I'm going to do another joke. So we talk about the in and out. The in and out, or the ins and outs. The ins and outs. So if I'm telling you how something works, if I'm telling you the details of how something works, maybe you are taking over my job. I'm going to another company, you are going to do my job, and I am training you. I would tell you about the ins and outs of the job. I'm telling you about the ins and outs of the job. I'm telling you exactly what you have to do. Okay, hope that's clear. Okay, we also have, when we are talking to a crowd of people, we might address them as ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Dinner is served. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to make sure that your phones are switched off. So we always refer to them as ladies, ladies first, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. And make sure it is men, gentlemen. We don't say gentlemen, we say gentlemen. And not written with an A, because that's something that people sometimes do. We don't say gentleman. It's always gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Princip has made a good point. King and queen. King and queen. That's a good one. I've just seen another one come through. Who suggested that one? Holger. Holger says ball and chain. Yes. In the old days, a prisoner may have a metal ball chained to his ankle so that he couldn't go anywhere. A ball and chain. Nowadays, a ball and chain is a bad way to refer to your married partner, normally to the wife. So lots of men would refer to their wife as a ball and chain because they feel like they're in prison with their wife. But it's not a nice thing to say about your poor wife. Anyway, so the ball and chain and what was the other one? King and queen. King and queen. Okay, so lots of questions coming through. Let's save the questions to the end, okay, guys? And then it's easier for me to read them and not get too sidetracked. If we're talking about keeping everything in check, we talk about law and order. I need law and order. We need to maintain law and order. So keeping everyone in check, making sure everyone's following the rules, that we don't have chaos, we have law and order. And see how I'm pronouncing these? Law and order. Law and order. Okay? Law and order. If it's a desperate situation, if the stakes are high, we talk about it being life or death. So if it's a really, really important thing, maybe you need your message to get through to somebody, and you might say on the phone, I must speak to him, it's life or death. Or you might say that something is a life or death situation. It could just mean that it's a very important situation, but in most cases it will mean it's a situation where someone could die or, if it goes right, live. So it's a life or death situation. Some people just use this to mean it's very important. If they're over dramatic, they might go, oh, I need to eat cake, it's life or death, meaning I'll die if I don't eat cake. That's probably me being dramatic. Will I be banned if I ask you to marry me? No, you won't be banned, but I won't say yes. I'm sorry. Okay, what else do we have? If something is under lock and key, it means it's locked away. It's been locked away. It is under, and we use that preposition, it's under lock and key. So, could you tell me where my necklace is? Don't worry, it's safe. It's under lock and key. In the UK, people say in it instead of isn't it. What's the difference? No difference, just one is more lazy than the other. In it. It's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think it's nicer to say isn't it. It's very slangy to say in it. I don't say in it. It's quite lazy. Okay. Oh, Prince. Prince, I don't know how to say your name. Prince Khan. You come up with some really good ones. We say son and daughter, not daughter and son. We usually say son and daughter. My son and daughter. My daughter and son. Oh, do we? Do we? I don't know. I don't have children, so I don't refer to them. Anyway, I think it's time for a joke. Okay, here's a funny one. What's the difference between snow men and snow women? The answer is snowballs. That's a little bit naughty. Obviously, a snowball is a ball you make out of snow and you throw it. We throw snowballs at each other. And balls is a slang term for a man's testicles. So if a snowman doesn't have testicles, he's a snow woman. So snowballs is the difference. Just a bit of fun. Okay, so let's have a look at some more word pairs. Lost and found. So if you lose something, maybe I forget my coat or I lose my keys while I'm out in town, I will have to go to the lost and found area or office or place, maybe in the main station, to see if someone has handed in my coat and my keys. So I've gone to Waterloo Station, I've said, oh, I think I left my keys on the train, and they say, go to Lost and Found. You'll see if they handed it in for you. That was my attempt at a London accent. Not very good. So the lost and found, or you could say something was lost and found. Remember the order, it has to be lost first in order to be found. Lost and found. Okay. Good. We also have, as we talked about before, if someone is married, if two people are married, once they're married, they become husband and wife, but we can also refer to them as man and wife rather than husband. So the priest in a Christian Catholic wedding would say, I now pronounce you man and wife. You may now kiss the bride. But we always say man and wife. We are man and wife. If someone is asking you for some details, they would usually ask you for your name and address. Your name and address. They would rarely ask it for the other way around. They wouldn't say, can we have your address and name, please? They'd say, could we have your name and your address? Fabulous. What else do we have? Oh, if something is simple, then you might say it is nice and easy. It's nice and easy. Okay. Lots of comments coming through now. If I don't read out your comment or don't answer them, please don't take it personally. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me, I've just had another super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, it makes me feel so happy. Thank you. It's so nice to have sponsors of this channel. So that's Abdul Basset. Abdul Basset, I hope I'm saying that right. And he says, hello, Anna. Thank you for your hard work and your time that you dedicate to teach and help people. You're very passionate about what you do, so please keep it up, and it will pay off for you eventually. Thank you so much. It's very nice to be appreciated. It makes it all feel worthwhile, so thank you. Okay, let's carry on. So yes, if something is simple, it's nice and easy. We even have a hair product here, a hair dye when you change the colour of your hair. We have a hair dye product called Nice and Easy because it's very easy to put on, change the colour and wash it out. Nice and easy. When we talk about things that we use for writing, we'll talk about a pen and pencil. I need a pen and pencil. Or does anyone need a pen or pencil? I don't know why we do it in that order. We just do. Pen and pencil. Oh, here's a good one. I might ask you to do the washing up, and you might say, I'll do everything but not the pots and pans. I don't like washing up pots and pans. Pots and pans, pretty much are the same thing, but we talk about them as pots and pans. Never pans and pots. Again, I don't know why. It's just the order that we feel more comfortable with. If somebody is well behaved and well educated and does everything socially correct, you could say that they are prim and proper. Prim and proper. She's a prim and proper young lady. He's very prim and proper. He does everything socially correct. He speaks nicely, he's polite to everybody, he opens the door for the ladies. Yes, he's prim and proper. Okay, we got part and parcel, that's a good one. That means it's all included. If it's part and parcel, it's included. Euro MPP says, what's Super Chat? Super Chat is your chance to become a sponsor of the video and the channel. It's a little button at the bottom next to the comment section near the emojis. It's a little $sign. You can choose to make a donation, and in return your chat comes up in big bright colours and stays stuck to the top of the comments board. So for those of you who feel like your comments are getting lost, you can stick it up there. If you want to advertise your channel, then you can do that with a super chat. If you want to get my attention so that I see your chat stuck to the top, again, super chat is the way forward. If you just want to say thank you for what I provide, then that's a way to sponsor the channel. Hope that makes it obvious for you. Oh, someone's already answered. Great, thank you. Okay, so many comments. Just hold it to the end, guys, if you've got questions, and I'll try and get through as many as I can at the end. So we could talk about, like I said, the good things and bad things. The ups and downs, the highs and lows, are also referred to as pros and cons. Pros and cons. Pros and cons. So the good things and the bad things. You might ask, what are the pros and cons? If you want to know what are the good things and bad things about it. Okay, I'm interested in this job, but what are the pros and cons? I'm interested in your service, but what are the pros and cons? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Someone said that there was an explosion on a bus in Dortmund. Oh dear. I do hope that everyone is all right. In fact, that brings me to another one, which is safe and sound. I hope everyone is safe and sound, which I think, Eric, you mentioned earlier. To be safe and sound is to, just to be safe, pretty much, to be safe and sound, to be okay. I might tell you to stay safe and sound, or I hope you are safe and sound. Let's have a look at some more. Again, if we're talking about something being easy, we could say it is pure and simple. In fact, that actually refers to things being more simple. You could say she is pure and simple, it is pure and simple. It's pure and simple. We have so many ways of saying the same thing, don't we? We might talk about doing something rain or shine. Come, rain or shine, we usually use that as well. Come, rain or shine, it's going to happen. It will happen come rain or shine. That means it will happen whatever the weather does. If it rains, if it's snowy, if there's gale force winds, we will still hold this event. Come rain or shine, no matter what, it will happen. No matter what, it will happen. Okay, sorry, just reading some of your comments. When we are learning a language, we need to learn how to read and write. We never say it the other way around. We say read and write. Read and write. Oh, there's a good one from some Sema, day and night. So I've been working day and night because for us, the day comes first. You awake in the day and you then see into the night and go to sleep. You wake the day and then the night comes. So day and night, day and night. Okay, so read and write, day and night, it rhymes. We might talk about right and wrong, or right or wrong. So I could say, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. What matters is what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. What matters is what I'm doing. So we always say it in that order, or we might say right and wrong. It's both right and wrong. Oh, ping, I just got a message. So right and wrong. Oh my goodness. Wow, thank you. Leandro has just made a donation to the channel, has sponsored this video. Thank you so much. Leandro has also just sponsored with, just for the sake of sponsoring. You didn't put a message or anything, but thank you. Oh, gosh, I don't know what to say. I really appreciate your support, guys. It honestly makes such a difference. Yeah, this channel has been struggling to grow, and so your support, you and the patrons, thank you. Oh, I'm getting a little tear in my eye. So yes, thank you, Leandro. Okay, so we might talk about the rise and fall, particularly maybe if we're talking about someone in history who becomes successful and then fails. We might talk about a businessman, for example, the rise and fall of Mr. X. Yeah, so it's usually when we're talking about someone in history, the rise and fall. Anna, I have to go. I will watch tomorrow the last part of the lesson. You are great. Bye. Thank you. And Andrea, thank you so much. And take care and see you later. Rumbling belly would mean you are hungry. Yes, that's right. Okay, let's carry on. I've already talked about salt and pepper. Here's an interesting one. If you're talking about someone's description and their appearance, and if they are short and they have a bit of weight on them, you would say they are short and fat. They're short and fat. So they wouldn't be fat and short, they're short and fat. Hopefully you wouldn't be describing someone that way to their face because they might get upset. But if you have to describe someone who is of that shape, you would say they are short and fat. Hello, Ramazan. Wanted a hello, so there you go. Hi, I saw your message. Fabulous. What else do we have? Signed, sealed, and delivered. Signed and sealed. The deal is signed and sealed. Oh, you're saying my Facebook link is not working. If you want to join me on Facebook, guys, just as a heads up, I don't know why the link's not working. Let me... Oh, that's an old link, that's why. So you need to search for English like a native. That is... Thank you for letting me know about that, by the way. So it should be English like a native, because I changed the name. That's why the old link doesn't work. Okay, so signed and sealed. You would talk about signed and sealed with a contract if something has been completed, like I'm buying a house. Is it done? Yes, it's signed and sealed. The deal is done. Signed and sealed. Okay. You might say slip and slide. If you're going onto a water park and you're having fun and you're going down the slide, you could say I was slip sliding down, or you might go down the hill and it's slippy and you could say I was slip sliding down the hill. Slip sliding down the hill. If you're having a bath or you're washing yourself, you would need soap and water. Never water and soap. You need soap and water. Soap and water. What else do we have? This is one we use regularly. We talk about sooner or later. Sooner or later. Hello, Marco, and bye, Arifa. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. That means that at some point it will happen. We don't know when. It could happen soon, but it could happen in a long time. But sooner or later, it will happen. Okay, sooner or later. We use that regularly, so keep that one in mind. Anna, what accent have you got? I have it's kind of a standard British English accent. So standard accents are like RP but softer, a Southern English accent basically, not American. I'm not American. American English accents are, I guess, more often used when teaching English. Many people learn with an American accent, but that's not what I teach. I teach British English. When we are talking about America, when we talk about the American flag, they talk about the stars and stripes. The stars and stripes of the American flag. Yes, JCR 1138 says, sooner or later I shall be as fluent as a fluent speaker as Anna. Sooner or later I shall be as fluent as Anna. That's all you need to say. Sooner or later I shall be as fluent as Anna, and that works. Well done. Good. In business we talk about supply and demand. Supply and demand. Okay. Supply just means what you give for what people want. So if 100 people want milk, then you have to make sure you supply 100 bottles of milk, because you have to meet the demand of the people. Supply and demand, that's how that works. Supply and demand. Are you a native speaker? Yes, I am a native speaker. I was born in England. I was born in the north of England, so my accent was different when I was younger, but I learned how to speak with a standard accent, and that's what I speak with now. In Harry Potter, they have many different accents. Okay, I'm going to carry on with the focus of the lesson. I will do some questions at the end. We're close. We're getting close. If you order a meal from a Chinese takeaway, because we love our Chinese food over here, we might ask for sweet and sour sauce or sweet and sour chicken balls, which are quite nice. Not that I eat meat anymore, but I used to quite like sweet and sour chicken balls is something I ordered regularly. And that's not the balls of the chicken. That is chicken that's in little balls, deep fried, and then in sweet and sour sauce. Sweet and sour sauce. If you have spent a long time with somebody and you have gone through good times and bad times, you can say, we've gone through thick and thin. We've gone through thick and thin together. Just means good and bad. We've gone through good and bad times together. Lots of requests for accents coming through. People asking me, do I teach other things? Yes, I teach singing on my singing channel, which is Verba Vocal Technique. You can come and sing with me if you like. You just have to join that channel. If you are enjoying this, guys, then please remember to give it a thumbs up before you switch off, and do make sure you are a subscriber so you don't miss out on future lessons. Just say that now in case I forget. So give me a thumbs up, let YouTube know you're enjoying this content, and hopefully they'll put it in front of other people in the future so that I can grow my audience, and that'll be really helpful. Thank you. Okay, if you have a really bad night's sleep and during the night you're lying on this side, then you change and you lie on this side, and you change and you lie on this side, and you can't get comfortable, this is called to toss and turn. So you could say, Anna tossed and turned all night. Anna tossed and turned all night. Tossed and turned. So yes, I was born in England. People asking me, I was born in England. If somebody says to you, don't be thick, unfortunately that means don't be stupid. So if someone says don't be thick, they're being unkind and they're saying don't be stupid. How did I learn to speak with my current accent? So I learned through doing lots of exercises, and not that I want to advertise it, but if you are interested, I did make a course, especially for people who wanted to change their accent like I did. I have a pronunciation course, and that's available on www.britishenglishpro.com. I think the link will be in the description of this video. So if you're interested in that, then have a look. Okay, guys, please save your questions to the end, because otherwise I miss them trying to scroll back in the middle of the lesson. One of you is asking me, why don't I have grammar lessons? I do sometimes teach grammar lessons. You'll see a few days ago I did a preposition lesson, but I have very strong beliefs about how you should learn a language. And if you watch my video, How to Speak English Fluently, you'll understand. So go and watch the video, How to Speak English Fluently. I released it only a few days ago, and that will help you to understand why I don't really teach grammar. Okay? All right, so we're nearly there. We've got a few more to go. If something is very close to failure, if it's very close to failure, it is touch and go. Touch and go. So if somebody is close to death, if they're in the hospital, they're very ill and they're close to death, you could say, last night it was touch and go. We didn't know if she would make it, but thankfully she's okay now. But it was touch and go. Leandro, today I got to make my donation. Yes, you did. Thank you. Yesterday I tried to make my donation for you, but I didn't manage it. And today your broadcast is much better. You've put really better, but that doesn't work. Today your broadcast is much better with this microphone. I am glad you trusted my tip. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you gave me the tip and thank you for your donation and support. Okay, just a few more. If we are trying to do something and we fail, we call it trial and error. Trial and error. So we're trying to do something, but we failed at it. It's trial and error. It means you're trying it out, you're finding out what doesn't work, and hopefully you will learn from that. So it's all trial and error. Don't worry, it's trial and error. Eventually we'll learn and we'll get it right. Just like learning English. As you practice, it's trial and error until you learn the language and then you're fluent. Whoopee! If, like we said before, you've gone through lots of highs and lows, lots of ups and downs, you've gone through many trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations. Goodbye, Jean-Luc, you're leaving me now. Goodbye. Thank you for enjoying the lesson and joining us here. Good. Okay, so trial and tribulation, up and down. Something you might say to your children very often is wait and see. If somebody is impatient and they want to know, tell me, what am I getting for my birthday? Tell me, what's the surprise? Or where are we going? You might say, shh, wait and see. Just means be patient and you will find out. Wait and see. Sorry, I lost my thought trail there. The last one here is talking about war and peace. War and peace. This is actually the title for a very long book, but apparently it's very good. I've never written it. I've never read it because it's so long. But war and peace. So that concludes all of the word pairs I was going to tell you about today. There are many more, but those are some of the more common ones. I'm sure if I look through all these comments now that there are many, many more. Okay, so if I previously missed your comments and you have a question or something that you want to desperately say to me, then now is the time to write it. I will try and answer as many of your questions in the next, let's say 6 minutes, and then we'll call it a day because I have not eaten and I have a lesson that I'm teaching in an hour and a half. Very late. It's very late. So I must go and do some cooking, but let's have a look at what you guys are saying. So Faisal says, please make a list of all the pairs of words we learnt today. Like I said, I'm working very late tonight and then I'm off on my travels tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm leaving in the middle of the day after I've done my morning teaching and packed my bags. I'm going up to Wales and I'll be visiting lots of my family. And then I'll be meeting up with my friends and we're going to go and stay in a tent for the weekend because we have a long bank holiday Easter weekend, which if you don't understand much about what we do here in the UK for Easter, then I did do a video all about our Easter traditions, so you could go and have a look at that. And I'm going to have an adventure weekend. Mostly it's a bit of fun for me, but also it's for my adventure channel, because I have a YouTube channel all about my adventures and my traveling called Anna's Big Adventure, which you're welcome to come and take a look at. I'd love to have you there. I don't have many subscribers, and it's good to practice your English, to listen to English without subtitles and for us speaking at normal speed. And so I'll be doing some filming there. I'm going to go and climb a mountain, because there is a mountain in Wales, so I'm going to climb that. Ping, another message. And I'm going to do some rock climbing as well, some outdoor rock climbing. And I'm going to go into some caves and do some cavern exploring. And then I've got a very long drive home on the bank holiday Monday. So things will be resumed. Another message. Things will be resumed back to normal on Tuesday of next week. So you won't have a live lesson until maybe Wednesday of next week. If I can do, I might do Tuesday, but I'll probably be very tired with lots to catch up on. So let's see what you're saying to me now. Hi Anna, I'm a new subscriber. I know you from your Facebook page and I think that you are so professional. Thank you, Ibrahim. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for joining. If you're watching now and you're not already a subscriber, please do press that subscribe button and the bell notification button so that you don't miss out on future lessons. What's the difference between thank you and thanks? No difference, just one is a thorough way of saying it, thank you, and the other one is thanks, just a quicker way of saying it. Weeping is crying a lot, sometimes extremely loudly. Shouting is when you raise your voice and are yelling words. Screaming is just a noise. There are no words being said. You're right, Mr. Rich, but you can also say she screamed goodbye. So you can scream words. She screamed goodbye. Yes. But thank you for your input. Now I really have to go. It's time for Juventus, Barcelona. Okay, Marco, have fun. What else? Are you a football fan? Not really. I used to be, and I watch England sometimes play in a World Cup, but I'm too busy making videos to watch football. I have a question. What is the verb for the action to give a present or gift? Well, if you're giving to give a gift, you could say I'm gifting you this, but we don't say that very often. We just say I have something for you. I'm giving you something. But you can say I'm gifting you. You can use gift as a verb. He gifted her the car. Good night, those of you who are leaving me. Lots of you are leaving me. It's getting very late, I'm guessing, for people. Let's see, what else do we have? Zahir says, don't worry, I will write the list of words. Thank you, you're very helpful. You're my star pupil. What do you call the phrase, go out on a limb? What kind of phrase is it? I've just learnt it, although I think it's American and not British. No, to go out on a limb is used very often in the UK. To go out on a limb. What kind of phrase is it? I would say it's an idiom. To go out on a limb, for those of you who don't know, means to... How do we describe it? It means to kind of put yourself in a vulnerable position, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's to do or say something that you know potentially won't be very popular, that people won't like, or that could be detrimental to you, but you're going to do it anyway because you believe in what you're doing or saying. Like I might say, I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys. I'm going to say something that's unpopular that you might not like. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't believe in learning grammar rules. Okay, so that's to go out on a limb. And yes, I think it's an idiom. I think that's what you're asking me. So yes, the phrase is called an idiom, and we do use it in Britain. What else are we saying? How long does it take to pick up a new accent for an 18-year-old male? It completely depends how long you spend practicing. It took me a year to change from my Lancashire accent over to a standard accent. A year of being regularly aware, but it just depends. It depends how fast you learn things. It depends how badly you want it. The difference in pronunciation between we are, we're, we are going, we're going, and were. We were going, we were going. Oh gosh. I'm from Vietnam. Hello. Hi, Vietnam. Do you like Spain? Yes, I do, of course. I love Spain. Anna, do you know what is the accent in the UK that's the most close to the US accent? The northern accent has a lot of similar vowels, so the Lancashire sounds have similar vowels. Also, the West Country accent is very similar to the US. I have a video in here all about the West Country accent, so maybe go and have a look and see what you think. Notice me, says Prince. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. What does I think you spelt it wrong, but what does hypnosis mean? If you are hypnotized, it means you are put into a trance. To be hypnotized is to be put in a trance where it's more like bringing out your subconscious thoughts, where you can find maybe lost memories, or they can talk to your subconscious. So if you're hypnotized, you're kind of put into a sleep or a trance where you still talk, and the idea is that they access your subconscious, your deep-rooted thoughts and feelings, to help you to solve a problem. Maybe you have a fear of something, but you don't know why. Someone would hypnotize you to access those deep-rooted thoughts. I think that's what you meant. What is politically correct? So politically correct means the best socially acceptable way of saying something. Yeah, I don't want to give any examples because I don't want to say anything bad, but for example, there are politically correct ways to describe people of certain race or certain colour, certain genders. There are politically correct ways to talk about these types of people, and there are bad ways to talk about these types of people. I'm sure you know what I mean. I'm sure you've come across examples in the past when someone has used a word that's not acceptable socially, and you've gone, then you would say that's not politically correct. Okay? Okay. My English teacher pronounces touch, lunch, funny. She insists that she is right. It's hard to know what you mean exactly in terms of pronunciation because those words aren't all spelt properly. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Have you ever been to any post-Soviet countries? I've been to a lot of countries. Which ones exactly are you referring to? I've been to Russia. Have I been to Any others? I don't know. Mr. Rich B.O.B. I hate political correctness. I've got some jokes, but I shan't. Oh no, don't. If they're not politically correct, don't, because it'll just upset someone. I also find some political correctness a little bit stifling. I think sometimes it goes too far, but I also don't like to offend anybody, so I don't know. The word I really struggle with in English is the verb to feature. Could you use it in a different sentence? Can I say the dancers are featuring a type of dance? Does a film feature an actor? Yes, a film does feature an actor. She featured in the film. The dancers are featuring a type of dance. That sentence doesn't feel right to me. You'd say there is a dance feature, or there is a dance featured in this show. I hope that helps. What does the British slang watcher mean? To be a watcher. The thing is, with certain slang, you only ever hear it spoken, you don't see it written. So I might say, what you gonna do? What you're gonna do means, what are you going to do? Watcher, what you doing? So if it's used in that context, it means, what are you? Hi, Seth. I hope you support Brexit. No, I don't, unfortunately. Although not unfortunately, no, I don't support Brexit. Brexit. I think it's a bad thing. I think we should stick together, and that's what's important. And also, like, we're better together. It makes it easier to move around Europe. Why would I want to have to go through all the visas and passport control? I can't work in another country now. I just don't think it's a good thing. Anyway, we won't talk about politics. Do you speak some Russian? Da. I love what you're doing for us all, for your students. Thanks. I love your accent. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, guys. My stomach is grumbling or rumbling, which means I am hungry. I must go and make some dinner before I eat. I'll just answer one more question from the chap who sent me a donation, a super chat. He says, did it feel embarrassing at the beginning when you started practicing your new accent? So when I changed my accent, did it feel embarrassing? How did I overcome that? Yes, a little bit it felt embarrassing, but what I did was I would practice my new accent on people who didn't know me. So at the shop, when I was buying something, when I was making phone calls to the phone centre or to the bank, whoever, I would phone them up. If it's someone who didn't know me, I would use my new accent, and that would help to build my confidence. And then over time, I just started changing little bits of my accent with people who knew me. Now my family listen to me and they say, you sound funny. Not so much anymore because they're used to it, but when I first changed, they thought it was weird. But I just thought I was doing it for me, not for them. So I didn't care what they thought, to be honest. Okay, and what are you going to eat for dinner? I'm going to make some fajitas. I eat fajitas a lot. I love it. And so yes, I'm making some bean fajitas. So thank you very much for joining me. If you did find this lesson useful, feel free to share it with your students. If you are also an English teacher, any material that I teach, I'm happy for you to share. And feel free to share with your friends if you think they might find it interesting. If you did, also remember to give it a thumbs up. Tell YouTube that what I'm producing is of value to you. And that in turn will help me, because YouTube will help to promote my channel, and that would make me very happy. If you do want to learn more, there's lots of videos in the archives, so do spend some time on the channel checking out the video archives. And remember, I'm on Instagram doing daily pronunciation practice videos, so if you want to improve your English speaking, join me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. Apparently the link doesn't work. I'm going to go and change it, but it's English Like a Native on Facebook. Speak English Like a Native, and then you'll find me. Make sure you're subscribed and check out the links in the box below. There's some goodies in there as well. Lovely. Take care. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you probably next week. If I get a chance to come on beforehand, I will, but it'll probably be Wednesday next week. You look tired. I feel tired. It's been a very long day. So thank you guys. Take care. You've been lovely. Mwah. Lots of love. Bye-bye.